Elidyr was a strange child in the eyes of his village. He was quiet where others were loud. He wandered where others worked. He listened to the wind as though it spoke secrets only he could hear. The villagers called him odd. Children mocked him for talking to birds and tracing patterns in river stones. Adults shook their heads when he paused to watch the way the sunlight danced through the leaves. But the worst misunderstanding came from home. His parents were hard-working folk, practical, stern, and weary from long days. They wanted a son who would plough fields, chop wood, and keep his feet firmly on the earth. But Elydyr's head was always in the clouds. He asked questions that made his father frown. Why do the stones hum after rain? Why do the crows speak in patterns? Why do I feel watched in the forest? His mother would sigh, his father would scold, and the village would whisper that the boy was touched by something not of this world. One evening after Elidyr returned home, late from wandering the woods, his father's temper snapped. "You're useless, boy, always dreaming, never doing." His mother tried to calm the storm, but her voice was drowned beneath the shouting. Elidyr tried to explain that he felt called to something in the forest, that he didn't mean to worry them, that he simply did not fit into the world they wanted for him. But his father slammed the door, and that sound echoed like a final judgment. So Elidyr ran. He ran into the woods, past the whispering pines, past the river that glowed faintly in the dusk, until night wrapped around him like a cloak. Tired and trembling, he found a hollow tree, its interior glowing faintly as though night itself had forgotten to enter. A place to disappear. He crawled inside and sleep claimed him. When Elidyr opened his eyes, he was no longer alone. A fairy maiden stood before him, pale as moonlight, eyes shimmering like morning dew, hair golden as the sun. Her voice drifted like a breeze over still water. "Come, Elidyr, I shall lead you to a place where sorrow cannot follow." She took him by the hand, and together they stepped through the hollow tree. The ordinary world vanished. He entered a realm where gold lay like fallen leaves, where rivers glowed with molten light, where every breath tasted of enchantment. It was beautiful. It was dangerous. It was meant to tempt. The fairy left him to wander, but she watched him always, unseen, silent, curious, and ever watchful. Elidyr returned home eventually, but the memory of that golden realm clung to him like a shadow. The village mocked him when he tried to speak of it. His parents dismissed it as another foolish tale. So he returned, again and again and again. Each time he filled his pockets with gold, coins, dust, and shimmering treasures, and he hid them in the woods outside his parents' house. He believed that he was clever. He believed he was unseen. He believed the gold would finally make them listen. But the fairy watched, silent and hidden. her disappointment growing like a storm behind a thin veil. One day, Elydyr's parents found him kneeling among the trees, burying the gold. The gold was like nothing they had ever seen. They demanded answers. They demanded truth. Cornered, Elidyr confessed everything. The tree, the fairy maiden, and the realm of gold. His parents exchanged a look of disbelief and fear. "Take us to the hollow tree," they commanded him. But Elidyr hesitated. He begged them not to go. He knew the fairy's patience was wearing thin, but they insisted. So he led them through the forest to the place where wonder had once opened its doors to him. But when they arrived, the tree was sealed. The entrance to the fairy realm was gone. Elidyr pressed his hands against the bark. He begged. He pleaded. "Please, let me in." But no voice answered him. No light appeared. No magic stirred. The way was shut forever. His parents saw only a boy's fantasy. The villagers mocked him even more. But Elidyr knew the truth, and the truth weighed heavier than gold. When they returned home, the gold that he had hidden was gone, as though it had never existed. The fairy maiden watched from the other side of the sealed bark. Her disappointment was not cruel, it was sorrowful. She had offered him wonder. He had answered with betrayal. And so, the door was closed, not out of anger, but out of grief. Elidyr stood in the forest, a feeling of shame resting on him like winter frost. And so, the boy who had once walked in golden lands returned to an ordinary world, haunted by the memory of what he had lost, and the knowledge that some doors, once closed, never open again.